The discussion settings control everything related to comments on your site. You could see under the default article settings that we have some options about notifications. We mentioned that WordPress has the ability to ping other sites and services, and you could set whether you want WordPress to do this for new comments, as well as for pingbacks and trackbacks, which are other articles on the site that link back to or mention your site. We also have the option to globally turn on and off comments on the site. However, this only applies to future articles. For example, if we come back to our site and look at our new homepage, we can see that we have the option to comment directly on the homepage. This is probably something you don't want, and you can come in to edit the page. I'm just editing my screen settings here to make sure everything is visible. And you could turn off comments. Now when we update the article and come back to the page, we can see that they no longer have the ability to edit pages. If you have multiple pages set up, I'll add another one to demonstrate. We could also do bulk editing and we could set the comments here to do not allow. So if you're turning off comments for certain post types, for example, pages in this case, we could under settings turn them off for future posts. However, we have to manually turn off comments for content that's already been created. These default discussion settings apply to both pages and posts. So, by default, there's no way to turn off commenting for just pages but leave them on for posts. There are some plugins out there that will let you do this. For example, the Disable Comment plugin lets you globally disable comments based on post types. Let's come back into discussion settings and now look at the next section of settings. These have to do with actually posting comments on the site and what that experience is like. You'll notice that we have the ability to determine whether somebody has to fill in their name and email to post a comment. We might require them to be registered and logged in to comment. You could automatically close comments on older articles. You could turn on and off threaded or nested comments. These are comments where people are able to reply to replies of other people. So you'll notice that this one appears underneath this one as opposed to this, which appears here. We have the options under Settings to determine how deep people can reply to replies and whether it's available at all. For very popular blogs, you might decide that you need to break comments down into multiple pages, and we have the settings and options here for that. Next are the email settings. If you have a really popular site that gets tons of comments, you probably do not want to be emailed every time someone posts a comment. However, if you get average amount of traffic and you want to be notified, you have that option and it's enabled by default. The next section is pretty important. It determines what level of moderation is needed. So, you can set your site to have to manually approve every single comment before it shows up, or you could have a layer of security that if somebody has previously posted a comment that you've approved, then you could automatically show that. We then have some options for automatic words that we want to have flagged for moderation. For example, if these were the words that we wanted to flag, if somebody included those words in their comment, it would automatically get set to moderation, and if we've set it up, we would be emailed and notified. We also have the ability to list IPs for blacklisting. If someone posts to your site, you get to see what IP they posted from. And if you decide that that's a spam account, you have the option to blacklist their IP address here, and it will no longer allow people from that IP to post to your site. You'll notice that we could also do this for URLs and emails as well. Below that, we could turn on and off avatars on our site. This depends a little bit on what themes are using, but in general, when we turn them off and then look at a page, we can see that we no longer see the person's pictures. However, when we come back under Discussion Settings and turn on avatars, then when we look at those articles, we see that their pictures show up. We could also determine what icon set to use by default if the person doesn't have any pictures. WordPress connects with gravatars, which are globally recognized avatars based on email accounts. If someone posts up an email account that has a gravatar associated with it, then their picture will show up. For example, my email address, zach@teamtreehouse.com, automatically has this picture associated with it. If you don't have a gravatar account, it's a great idea to have one, especially if you work in the WordPress world. This way, anytime you post on a site using your email, you could be assured that the right picture will show up with you if they're showing pictures on their site using that setting. Since some people might choose to use more inappropriate avatars, you could determine what the appropriate rating level is for your site.